Welcome to Meaningful Morning. In our most recent marriage enrichment retreat, one of the practices that was shared to enrich one's union with oneself and so others was to speak undilutedly. Speak undilutedly. In Meaningful Mornings, we flowed through this as speak truthfully, satya. And I had shared with all of the students, if you don't know, don't guess. On a test, if I don't know, then I guess. The ramifications of me being wrong are less, but if I don't know this and this and this about a person, I shouldn't guess that they're like that and that and that. When someone guesses, in the Ramayana, that's called gossip. In the Yaksha Prashna, that's called slander. One mustn't do that. But the ramifications are even more serious when it comes to happiness. A lot of people don't know how to be happy, so they go on guessing, maybe that will make me happy, maybe this will make me happy. And often one gets less happy then. Meaningful mornings, we are not guessing. We are trying to know how to be happy, how to be happiness. Once, a young man, he received a job offer and was feeling very happy and comfortable. And so as he was walking home from his first day at work, near his apartment, there was someone who didn't have a home, someone who was homeless. And this prosperous person gave this homeless person $10. And this became their habit. He would make money, he would give this homeless man $10. Now, this young man who got this job got married. So now as he would come home, he would give this homeless man $5. And this became the new trend. And this young man who got married now has a child. And so when he would go home, he would give the homeless man $1. And as this trend continued, then one day the homeless man had asked this young man, you used to give me $10, then $5, now $1. How come you're giving me less? And that young man said, I was alone before, now I'm married, now I have a child. And that homeless man looking at him said, why are you running your family on my income? And we're all laughing, but that's exactly what we do. The more family we have, the more kanjus or miserly we become when that homeless man still needs a home. In verse 20 of chapter 17, Shri Krishna describes the one with lots of faith. And so their generosity is unconditional. Remember the word unconditional. When you train yourself to give unconditionally, this is helping you to love unconditionally. For you to be unconditional. And that's why I gave you the specific reference of when it comes to offering dakshina, it wasn't from Sri Krishna's narrative, it was from Rishi Sandipani's narrative. Rishi Sandipani directed Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna was to give unconditionally, and he did. In verse 21, one with less faith gives conditional. So they love conditionally, they feel conditional. And I gave you the specific reference that back in the day, members of society gave 20% of their resources to society. And that's why there wasn't a great need for taxes. People gave of their own accord, so people didn't need to be taxed. Now, fast forward, the whole system has been reversed. We only give to reduce our taxes. What a conditional practice. In verse 22, Shri Krishna is describing one with little faith. They're ones who don't give. There's a saying in Sanskrit, Yatha Shakti, Tata Bhakti. As your power, so your offering. The rich should give more. But here, I would like to reverse this so that it's not about your resources. Yatha Bhakti, Tata Shakti. The more dedicated you are, you find the resources to offer. This chapter is about faith, particularly how to have lots of faith. The evolution of faith is trust. The evolution of trust is knowing. Past trust, which is still emotion or thought-based, is knowing. And to put this in the right context, trusting God is one matter, but knowing God is a different dimension. For one who's trying to practice having lots of faith, give I. We are giving that and this, but the I is still there. If you give the I, what is given with this? All of that, all of this. I hope I'm not confusing with such abstractness. But the point is, if you give up I, you give up all my and my-ness. From faith to trust to knowing. Puja Swami Tejromayananda had shared. One is to give up abhimana. What does abhimana mean in English? Pride. Yet, people take pride in their giving, which has the counter effect. There are so many centers, mandirs, Chinmaya Mission Center and mandirs, where the giving is to give up pride, but people are taking pride in their giving. There's these walls with these trees and these plaques with amounts and names. Where is the practice of chapter 17, verse 20? The same institutions that have quotes of Bhagavad Gita, speakers on Bhagavad Gita, but where is the integrity? Right now, our community in 43 months has raised $642,703 for non-religious causes. Our community is focused on religion, focused on philosophy and practice. And we're contributing to non-religious causes, but my point here is, who's given the most? Do you know the name of who's given the most? Do you know where they're from? When we ask you to share your receipts, it's for tracking and it's temporary, correct? And I'm only trying to express how we're trying to practice 1720 in this community, and I feel we're doing all right. We're able to raise funds with no sense of abhimana. I have this vision, and I'm trying to work on this, that our institutions, our Chinmaya Mission Centers, our mandirs, that they be led, that the presidents, the board members, are those of the second generation. Or maybe they will see the integrity of what's being shared. I have heard about centers, about mandirs, where the board members have special parking spaces. They have a section of the parking lot just because you're a board member. And so yesterday we had a meeting. We have a new team being developed, Philanthropy for Society. And the 4 people who were part of the meeting, and they're joining us right now, are all on this of the second generation. People take such pride in rebuilding institutions like centers and mandirs. I feel what is needed is we don't need more infrastructure. We need more culture to rebuild that. Very passionate. Too passionate. There's never enough time about these matters. Verse 23. Oh, truly, this chapter is an appendix. You will see as we start to explore these thoughts. Om Tat Sat iti nirdeshaha Brahmanastrivida smritaha Brahmanastena vedascha Yajñascha vihita pura. Joy. Om Tat Sat. Have you come across these words before? 16 times, correct? The 17th is about to happen. Om Tat Sat it's so subtle. Om, in this context, is the most tactile way to remember divinity. Right? Look, there's a name, there's a form. You can see my wrist. But subtler than this, one should be directed to this, is Tat. Tat means that. See how it's more abstract or less conditional. And more subtle than that, as if more abstract or less conditional, is Sat, which means existence. And proof of this is we have only experienced existence, but who actually feels that? So Shri Krishna is sharing there is a methodology or a classification to also feel infinity. By divinity, by Om. And more thoughts on this. This is the only way. This is a path from more name and form to less name and form to no name and form. Based on your evolution, get onto this path. When you run a half marathon in a formal way, you have to enter what time you think you'll finish this race in, and then they put you in groups. Those who are faster, you run ahead. Those who are slower, you run behind. But everyone runs the same path, correct? Some jog, some walk, some crawl. Some get put in a vehicle to finish the race. And now culturally for everyone, when we chant, lots of people chant, Om Tat Sat iti. That's not the correct sequence. It's Om Tat Sat, pause. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su. Clear? Next. Brahmana Trivida Smritaha. This is the classification, Trivida. The 3 steps, Smritaha, to remember Brahman. Bigness or infinity. The implication of this entire first line is, it is not about how you remember infinity, but rather that you are remembering infinity. It can be through Om, it can be through Tat, it can be through Sat. And very quickly, I'll explain more tomorrow. Brahmanaha Vedaha. The Brahmanas, which in English means thinkers, those who think, they become helpers. The Brahmanas put together the Veda, which is a map. And this map, which is to help people, then the next term is Yajnaha. When people follow the map, they become helpful. Do you see the sequence? The thinkers are the ones who are happy. Happy people want other people to be happy, so they created a map of happiness. When people follow the map of happiness, they become helpful. Yajna means dedication. And Vihitaha Pura, the origin of all of this, Pura means that which is older. The implication of this is creation, but the foundation of creation is the Creator. The Creator has shared this system for us to feel infinite. This is not guessing how to be happiness. This is knowing how to be happiness. And I think this is a subtle verse, so let me just share one final, more tactile thought. Om Tat Sat. In this teaching, Sri Krishna is encouraging us to think and speak and act this. That way, if what we're doing is of little faith or less faith, this will be a reminder to have lots of faith. So as you go about living with little faith, say Om Tat Sat. If you have less faith, say Om Tat Sat. If you have lots of faith, Om Tat Sat. It's like a reminder which helps us to jump. I will share more tomorrow. There's more in this. From inspiration to application, your application yesterday was to share which of these classifications, association, dedication, renunciation, contribution, has been most revealing. Please tell me in the chat which one has revealed the most to you about you. And I think many are going to share contribution, just like for me. What I have realized is dana, specifically, rajasic dana, is where one has the sentiment about, even subtle sentiment, what do I get? And if there's any sentiment about what do I get, it is an investment and not charity. If I give $10,000 and I want my name on this room, that wasn't dana, that was an investment. Your application for today is, I want you to write out Om Tat Sat. Put it on a piece of paper, not digitally, and I want you to keep this with you. Keep it in your pocket, pin it to your sweater. Om Tat Sat. Shanti, 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 Be joy.